All right, y'all, welcome back. As promised, we're going to break down one of the most recent officer-involved shootings. It's the one that happened back on September 10th. And honestly, just kind of right off the bat, it's pretty clear-cut. Like, there's not much ambiguity in what happened here.
No.
And the chief laid it out in her press conference, but a little of the precursor, just the context that we got was that there were some of our district representatives were out and around Zilker Park. They were doing a parking enforcement type deal in around the park area to try to help clean things up, make sure that everything's, not, I don't know exactly how I'm trying to phrase that one, but, you're not contributing to just people loitering around and camping around there, like trying to keep the parks clean. That's what they're trying to do, right? So they find a vehicle that that's stolen. It's unoccupied. So there's an officer, Officer Reinhardt, that is out there waiting on a tow truck. And while he's waiting on a tow truck, two people come out of the woods and they say that that's their car. So immediately, in the officer's mind, like, well, that's a red flag. I know the car is stolen and they're saying that it's theirs. It's like, well, then these would be most likely, most probably the individuals that stole the car. They're not supposed to have it. It's super early in the morning, not a normal time of day for someone to just be out and about. And so lots of red flags here. So then he starts giving them commands. And that's about when the video kicks in. So, he starts giving them commands. He goes over the radio. You can hear him say, that he's got two people that say that they were the owners of the car, that it was their car. He's telling them to come out of the woods, and you can kind of tell that they're a little bit hidden in the woods. You can see the female kind of along that little trail there, and then the male behind. The officer announces himself. He's giving them commands. He's telling them, like, hey, you're detained. You're not free to go. And he's trying to shine a light in the other guy's eyes so that way the officer can see. And that's also helpful so that way we can see what's going on around us, but it also prevents people from being able to see exactly what's going on with the officer or exactly where they are, which in this case proves extremely important when the officer's telling them, hey, show me your hands, and then all of a sudden the man pulls a gun, shoots the female in the back of the head standing right in front of him, continues to shoot, and winds up hitting Officer Reinhardt. And the female immediately goes down, and the officer returns fire where the gunfire was coming from at him. And then, he winds up, he does a quick reload there, and then gets on the radio, gives the updates, says, hey, this is what's going on. I'm hit, and there's an innocent victim that was hurt. Like, puts out super quick, clear, concise information to make sure as much help can get to them as quickly as they possibly can. So, phenomenal job by the officer in everything that he was handed, because you're just thinking, okay, well, it was a stolen car. You're just waiting on a tow truck, and then all of a sudden, this all unfolds. Like, it's just crazy how quickly things can turn in an instant. So,
yeah, it goes super fast. From what's going on. And, at the beginning of the video, the department always puts, this graphic nature. And I know some people might not watch these type of videos, but I think it's really important for those of you in the community to take the time to watch these police videos when they come out, because it really lets you see what the officer is seeing and what officers in your community are dealing with, and get to see really the professional job in a really terrible situation that this officer handled it. He's by himself. He's just planning on, hey, I'm going to detain these people. Officers detain folks all the time, every day. And most of them go according to what we want to happen, where they come out and like the female in this video, she's cooperating, kind of walking out with her little dog, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And she's walking out. They would have got detained. They would have been dealt with. And then we see that the man in the video, suspect, the male suspect, he decides to make things change course really quickly, and unfortunately shoots her in the back of the head. She falls, and then shoots the officer as well. And that's how fast it can just go from, hey, just come on out here. Let me just find out who you are. Figure out, hey, maybe the vehicle was reported stolen or it hadn't been taken out of the system. Or there's lots of variables that could be there. Officers just trying to detain them to figure out what's going on. And it quickly turns into a life and death situation where the officer has to quickly react. Unfortunately, the female is shot. I think when it's time we're filming this, I'm pretty sure she's still in the hospital, but not very critical condition.
Yeah.
And then he gets hit as well. And then you can listen to the radio traffic that comes on, and just outstanding work by him. He is calm. Put yourself in that situation where you just got shot and you're bleeding, and he still is able to stay calm and clear on the radio to be able to give information that's needed so others can respond to assist him and assist the female as well, so we can get her to the hospital and get her treatment, but also for himself. And so outstanding job by Officer Reinhardt, and grateful that he's okay, and that he's going to make a full recovery. We're still seeing what's going to happen with her. But just a tragic situation that happened here in Austin.
Yeah. And I do think it's a really good point, right? A lot of people may not want to watch this kind of stuff, but if you're ever curious, right? Or even if you're someone who, may have questions about policing, or you may even have historically been critical of the police. Like, I think these are great videos to watch because, right, sitting here and at home, right, we get to hit pause. You get to stop. You get to look. The officer doesn't get to hit the pause button out there, right? You're immediately reacting. This whole clip from start to finish, which includes him walking up, going over the radio, the shooting itself, and the aftermath, right? That's 46 seconds is how long this clip is, right? And the moment that everything happens is like it all goes down within about a second.
Yep.
Right? 1 second where you're telling people to come out of the woods, you've announced yourself, you're telling them that you're detained, and you're coming up in your head, you're like, okay, I'm one officer and I've got two people coming out. Like, how am I going to do this? Who am I going to wind up, detaining first? Or do they need to go in handcuffs? Am I not going to put them in handcuffs? Whatever the case may be, right? And so you're planning, and then all of a sudden, as you're standing there, a gun comes out, shoots, female falls in front of you. Obviously, you can tell, like, from her behavior, and the officer's probably processing, like, okay, well, she's just been shot. I just got shot. I need to respond to the threat. And then you're trying to process everything else that's going on. Like, just in an instant, it all changes, right? So I think it's extremely important for people to put themselves, and it's important for officers too, to watch these videos and to look at them to be like, okay, like, well, what would I have done? Am I ready for this moment? Am I prepared for this? So it's important not just for law enforcement, but for members of the community to watch these videos, because it gives you a lot of insight into how quickly everything can change, and that we get to watch these things after the fact, right? Not in the moment, right? Officers have to be prepared for these moments if and when they come, and they can come at any given time, and they have no idea which call it might be. Again, this officer went from sitting there waiting on a tow truck and the tow truck to load up the car to all of a sudden he's being shot. Like, that's a drastic turn of events that most people would be like, oh, that's not likely to happen. Like, well, it may not be likely, but it happens, and you don't know when. And you have to be prepared for when that moment might come, because any call can turn just in an instant.
Yeah. Well, and it shows you why police training is what police training is. And we have to teach our new officers that are in the academy, and when they graduate and you come on to FTO, you have to teach these guys and gals that you have to be ready for this every situation at all times. Like, you have to just know, like, hey, I could be sitting here dealing with we're waiting on a tow truck, and it turns into this. It's not like we're just throwing out these random scenarios that, like, this is never going to happen. Like, the scenarios that we put officers through in the academy all come from real life situations that have happened and have now been turned into training scenarios to get you ready. And you think, oh, that's not realistic, that officer is not doing anything, like, and then just somebody with a gun jumps out and starts shooting at him. Well, no, it's very real. Yeah. Whether it's an ambush, whether it's a situation like this, you deal with suspects, you don't know this guy's got a gun. So it's important, I think, for citizens, put yourself in that officer's shoes. Obviously, you're watching the video, you know it's going to be a shooting, so you already know what's coming. But put yourself, hey, what would you have done in that situation? And that's how we evaluate acceptable uses of force, is putting yourself in an officer's shoes without the benefit of hindsight being 2020. Of in that moment, what did he know? What did the officer know? What are they doing? What are they encountering? And then how do they react to those facts that are presented to them? So it's a wild video, but it just shows you like it's real. Like it's not some made up thing that things just pop up on officers. It happens way more than we would like to admit and realize for the community that this is what our officers are faced with.
Yeah, and we would also be remiss if we didn't acknowledge as well that there was a homeowner that was involved in all of this, that he was prepared. He saw what was going on. He was staying informed. He prepared himself. And then when this suspect broke into his house, that homeowner responded and was able to stop the threat and was able to stop this suspect. And as a result, we were able to catch him. There were officers, fortunately, very close by. Everyone was kind of in the area. It was obviously very saturated with law enforcement as we were looking for him. But thanks to that homeowner, like, he did a phenomenal job in being prepared, being aware, and responding when, this suspect tried to make him a victim as well, basically. And thanks to him, we were able to catch him. So it was great work, and I think highlights super well the relationship that we do have with our community. And I know, like, I'm not trying to gloss over the fact that there was also a lot of criticism that came with some of the alerts. There was confusion. There was confusion that happened, and we've seen that. I know that's been a pretty big storyline about things. And leave it to kind of the department to really figure out how all of that happened. I know they had said that there was a shift change issue as well as maintenance, like this almost perfect storm of things that came up that I'm sure are probably going to cause reflection on, hey, is that the way that we need to do this? Or is there a better way that we can do these shift changes or whatever? And how communication looks, not just, with APD, but how does AISD PD improve their operations and how they interact with parents and all this other kind of stuff. So, there were a lot of components to this at the end of the day that things could have gone differently. They could have gone very differently. It was bad enough already with one person, the female being shot and in critical condition now, not expected to survive per the chief, and then an officer that's shot, and it could have been even worse than that. So, but I do want to give props and many thanks from both. I know the department gave it, but on behalf of all the officers, we greatly appreciate homeowner that was prepared and that intervened and did what he had to do to protect his family and his property, because ultimately his preparedness is what led to this guy being caught, which is phenomenal. It's great to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and thank you to the community. I know I've heard when I was out working over the weekend, people just saying, "Hey, how's your officer doing?" Yeah. I heard officer was shot, and just thanking the officer for everything they did, thanking police for really appreciate the community's support in a time like this. Yeah. So it's not something that we forget easily. We really appreciate the support that our community does give to the law enforcement here in this town.
Yeah, and on that one too, just to kind of bolster that up a little bit more, is the same thing where it's like, I think I have seen a lot of support out there. Like, APD does have a good relationship with our community. If not, our homicide solve rate would not be what it is, right? The homicide, in 2023-4 is where they had 100% clearance rate. Right. 2023 is when they had the 100% clearance rate. And a big part of that is the fact that our folks, our community members, our fellow Austinites are actively participating in helping us solve crime. And that's what's important. So there is a good relationship. Are there ways that it can always get better? Absolutely. We'd be foolish to say, no, APD's perfect. We're not saying that. There's always ways that we can improve, but there is a strong relationship there, and we do appreciate, Austinites, just like you said, especially people that see officers, recognize the work that they do. A little thanks goes a long way. Yep. So, we appreciate everyone that's reached out to our officers and isn't asked about Officer Reinhardt, who was injured, but then also just, officers in general. So with that, we appreciate it. As always, we'll be back again for either another breakdown or update, or you never know what may come next around here. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. So until the next time, stay safe, stay alert, and stay tuned.